Let's talk about, I know you're big on this subject and I find it fascinating too. Trump is going to is bringing white Afrikaners from South Africa to the United States as refugees. We've had some, what's the number, like 59 arrive in the past day. And this is because in South Africa now, they have turned on white people and decided that because of the history of villainous behavior there, that the current whites in South Africa must be punished, up to and including taking their land away from them and just giving it to Black South Afrikaners, so African residents and citizens. So now Trump has said they can come here. There's some 8,000 of them who want to leave. And so he's not saying yes to everybody, but he's saying we're going to take a look. They can come here. This is what a true refugee looks like, who is under threat because of his race, of losing his property, his livelihood, and potentially worse. I mean, claims of violence and threatened death. And the first shipment of folks arrived yesterday, and there they were, literally standing there waving American flags. Look at this. Look. This, I mean, I'm sorry, but like they look like people who would like to assimilate. I'm very encouraged by their American flag shirts, their American flags that they're holding and waving, and full of gratitude to President Trump and to this country for giving them a place to go after being persecuted for no reason other than the color of their skin. But now, Buck, we've got the left saying this has gone too fast. They're allowing in these refugees too quickly without adequate investigation of who they are and whether they deserve to be here. We should have involved the UN, say some of these Democrats, and the hypocrisy is dripping from the sides of their mouths as they make these claims. Your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, it's just beyond parody that for 4 years of the Biden administration, you had 10 plus million illegals piling into the country, overwhelmingly claiming false asylum, right? I mean, these are people who there is absolutely no basis to believe that they really need asylum. They just come from generally poor, crappy countries, just the way it is, and they'd rather be in America, especially in America that gives them $400 a night hotel rooms in Midtown Manhattan and gives them culturally sensitive meals and, preloaded debit cards, right? Like that sounds better than wherever they come from. 10 plus million. And this is, but we're a nation of immigrants. We're not a nation of illegal immigrants, by the way, but that's a whole other part of the conversation. Now we have 50 people who come to this country legally, lawfully, at the invitation of the executive branch of the president himself, and the media is completely freaked out. These are people who bring skills with them, particularly if they're Afrikaners who have a farming background, a high-level farming background. That means that they would be productive right away, and also people that speak English and love this place. They're not coming here because we're a giant welfare camp or a soup kitchen. They're coming here because they love this place. I'm just going to say this. I live in South Florida. Cuban Americans are some of the most patriotic Americans you'll ever see in your life. People that fled the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot in Cambodia, they love this country. Former Soviets, you get what I'm saying. People that have fled injustice and tyranny and come here lawfully love this place. Millions of people scammed the system under Biden. These people are actually coming here the right way. Here's why it's such a problem for the Democrats. And I mean, I've been talking about this issue for years, because what you really have in South Africa is an end state affirmative action country, if you will, where instead of just being this amorphous, which the Supreme Court just, of course, shut down, but this amorphous, like, well, we need to take these things into account. You have explicit quotas in South Africa. You must have, I think, 85% of your company must be Black employees, or the managerial set must be Black. If you want to get certain loans, you have to actually be Black, or at least partner with somebody who is Black. There's all of these rules and laws that explicitly disenfranchise the roughly 7% of South Africa that is white, and that's predominantly Afrikaner. I mean, you can get it like Dutch East India Company comes around 1653. There are Dutch and Germans who are there, and then the English end up taking it over later. But point being, the 7% of the country that is white has not only state-sponsored disenfranchisement going on now, but there's also an unwillingness to police and protect, particularly these farms. that have been the subjects of clearly anti-white violence of the most gruesome and horrific kind. And if you look next door to what happened in Zimbabwe, formerly Rhodesia, with Mugabe, who died some years back, but he was the dictator there, they had a land expropriation campaign. There's talk of that happening now in South Africa fully. It has not happened. I believe it's come up in the legislature. But they say, you know what? The land belongs to the black people in this country, not the white people. That was what happened in Zimbabwe. It went from being the breadbasket of Africa to being a place that cannot feed itself as a country and has inflation rates in the trillions of dollars. I mean, you can't even, no one can conceive of the numbers of inflation that happened in Zimbabwe. Basically destroyed the country. And there's talk of doing that in South Africa. There's also rolling blackouts in the country. There's corruption that would make what happens in some parts of Latin America look like it was Switzerland. The place is a mess, and there's still tremendous blame and resentment on the white. I even saw it on the MSNBC panel. This is what I do with my mornings. Earlier today, where there's tremendous blame for the white people who live there. Like, some of them are, They were born after apartheid ended. Like, why are they being punished for this? And what it really goes to, Megyn, is they cannot, the Democrat leftist mind cannot conceive of a situation in which there is discrimination against white people. They believe racism is an ailment specific to white people. And it is impossible for non-whites to be racist. And so this is an absolute circuitry breakdown for them mentally. They can't process and handle this, and it completely freaks them out. And it's really good for the American people to see, oh, so that's what the game is here.
You're so right. That's exactly right. Well said. Here's another example of exactly what you're talking about. Her name is Ashley Allison. We've shown the audience this woman before. She goes on this CNN panel on the Abby Phillips show that Scott Jennings appears on. And she was the former National Coalitions Director for Biden-Harris 2020. This is the woman who was out there not long ago saying, black women are the most educated people in the world, and I still can't get ahead. I don't understand. Like, I've still been left behind, even at CNN, when I should have jumped ahead of others, alleging, I guess, that CNN is a bunch of racist, sexist pigs. But in any event, or I guess it was Obama. She was saying, like, under Obama, she didn't get ahead, notwithstanding the fact she was clearly the most qualified woman in the room because she's a black woman with all this education. Okay, well, maybe you're not that impressive. Maybe you didn't wow people. I hate to break it to you. You don't seem that impressive to me. I watch you on CNN in these clips. I'm never like, wow, this is a really intelligent, thoughtful person. And it seems like Obama's administration felt the same. Well, she's back with thoughts on this South African situation. Watch this.
30 plus years ago, they went through the apartheid system ended, and they reformed their constitution under the great leader of Nelson Mandela. And that allowed for a racial reconciliation, one that this country has yet to do. But South Africa did it, and they reformed their constitution, and part of that is that the people who are native to that land deserve their rightful land back. The constitution in South Africa is discriminatory. They have their checks and balances in that land, just like we do, and that is for them to. So if the Afrikaners don't actually like the land, they can leave that country.
They are. They're leaving to come here.
No. They can
These refugees are coming here.
They can actually leave and go to where their native land is, which is probably Germany.
Are you against them coming here?
Holland, probably. Holland,
Are you
yes.
against them coming here?
I'm against the hypocrisy of this administration.
No, that's not the question.
What I am against is that they are being given special treatment when there is not a genocide happening in South Africa, and they just don't like the law of the land.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, is there a genocide happening right now in Venezuela or Mexico? Because you really seem to love the immigrants who come from those countries, and not just those countries. But Bill Melugin, Fox's immigration reporter, he tweeted out, Buck, similar to what you were just saying. Did the media networks now criticizing a few dozen South Afrikaners coming to the U.S. legally as refugees have anything to say when Arizona was overrun with thousands of African aliens crossing illegally every day in December 2023? Because I sure didn't see them down there covering it.
Well, first of all, Bill does fantastic work. And second of all, on this, if you come to this country illegally from Haiti or from Ghana or from Bangladesh or wherever, the Democrats believe that you're as American can be day one. That's just the truth.
You should be able to vote.
That now. You should be able to vote. You don't speak the language. Who cares? You don't know anything about this country. What's the difference? You're not white. We should give you everything that you could possibly need, courtesy of the taxpayer, who, if they don't pay their taxes, they go to prison. We should give you everything you want. You should be open arms, because there's a lot of reasons for this, but one of them is because of America's history of, exploitation, colonialism, and slavery. So whatever we have to do to help the non-white population of the world, the Democrat Party believes should be done via immigration. And yet, when you have that woman from CNN, she's talking about they should go, meaning the Afrikaners, they should go back to where they came from. They've been for 300 years in South Africa. 300 years. I mean, I hate to break this to people. This is part of the massive ignorance of history that exists on the left. I mean, even the people that are supposed to, like the people that are involved in writing the 1619 Project and people that you see.
She's one of the highest educated, though, Buck. She's one of the highest educated.
They don't know. They don't know anything about history. They know about propaganda and how to tell people that they're not accountable for their own decisions. They're not accountable for what's going on today. It's all about historical wrongs. I see this, and I see people who somehow have set up a double standard in their mind, whereby it doesn't matter that South Africa is openly discriminating against people based upon skin color because of what happened a long time ago. And I sit here and I say, hold on a second. I mean, the Dutch have been there for hundreds of years. The right. Zulu tribe, for example, which people say, well, I saw someone on Twitter, like, why don't the Dutch learn how to, or, the Afrikaners learn how to speak Zulu? They came like 150 years after the Dutch arrived there. They were conquerors from neighboring tribes who showed up. It wasn't like the Dutch and the English took over like some Shangri-La here. It was like a well-functioning Jeffersonian democracy. It was a largely uninhabited piece of land. And at what point do you get to say that this is actually your homeland too? Again, if you come here and you're not white and you illegally arrive here, it is, Megyn, if you're an MS-13 gang member who's not supposed to be here, as American as you and me and everybody listening, how dare you not give him like 7 different court hearings or whatever? But the guys who have been living in South Africa, their generations, their families go back for 6, 7, 8 generations now, hundreds of years. They're supposed to go back to Germany. And by the way, why is that not a racist comment that she says on that show?
Yeah,
on
no
CNN?
kidding.
Go back to where you came from?
And why does she have such a strong objection to them coming here? No, not here. No. She says, and they should leave. And then Scott Jennings says they are. And she was like, no, not here. Go back to Germany or go to Holland. Like, what is it? What is it about them, Ashley, that you find so objectionable? Yes. When normal law-abiding Americans, including overwhelmingly Hispanics, objected to the waves of illegals coming in, mostly from South America, Latin America. You called them all racists. You said the left said it's all about racism. You hate brown people. But now this one small group of whites who actually are facing massive racial discrimination comes, and she says, it's a no, get out. Why? It's obviously because of skin color. And by the way, live by the sword, die by the sword. We'll play by your rules. This July, there's a global summit of BRICS nations in Rio de Janeiro. The bloc of emerging superpowers, or so they hope to be, including China, Russia, India, and Iran, are meeting with the goal of displacing the U.S. dollar as the global currency. They're calling it the Rio Reset. As BRICS nations push forward with their plans, some worry global demand for U.S. dollars could decrease, bringing down the value of those dollars that are in your savings. While this transition, if it happens, will not happen overnight, the Rio Reset could mark a pivotal moment. So learn if diversifying your savings into gold is right for you. Birch Gold Group can help you move your hard-earned savings into a tax-sheltered IRA in precious metals. Claim your free info kit on gold by texting MK to 989898. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands, tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold arm you with a free, no-obligation info kit on owning gold before July and the Rio Reset. Text MK to 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.